Now being recorded.
Wonderful. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I hope everybody is here safe and happy and healthy and have had good things happen since our last meeting. It is 8:30 a.m. on Thursday, September 23rd. We are here for our first SHAC meeting. For those of you who have not already done so, if you could go ahead and put your name and who you are representing in the chat box so we have a record of attendance. I remember, and some of you were here when we did this, I remember our first Zoom meeting, we tried to go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves, and yeah, it didn't work out well because everybody tried to talk at the same time, and so we decided to use the chat box feature. And I will do my best, Moira, to try to remember to save chat before I.
That's what I was going to say next.
before we sign off today. So again, welcome everyone. We need to go through and approve our minutes from the April 8th, 2021 meeting. Those were sent out by Moira with the agenda. Do I have anyone who would make a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll move to accept the minutes.
Thank you, Julie. And do I have a second?
I'll second it, Alicia.
Thank you, Sherry. Appreciate that. And all in favor?
Aye.
Yay. Any opposed? It's hard to do all in favor when you can't look around the whole room. No one's opposed. Awesome. So we've accepted our minutes from the April 8th meeting. Okay, first up is Mary Fisher from our school board. She's going to give us an update, and I always love to hear things Mary has to say. So Mary, take it away, my dear.
I'm sure you do. Alicia, I'm always asking you for information. So good morning, everyone. And as I'm looking around at the faces and the names, over the years, our School Health Advisory Committee has certainly evolved. And so I'm very happy to see all of you part of it. I see that there were a few other private community or from private community organizations who aren't represented here. And I don't know if they're still with us, but I do want to say that I'm here to talk to you today about health education and our legislative priorities. So over the years, one of my main focuses has been to advocate for comprehensive health education, which has been missing for, I don't know, Alicia, how many years is it? Since we really started focusing on testing and reading and math, we kind of lost touch with some of our other subject areas, including comprehensive health, which really should be, but is not a core subject. I mean, and that's my humble opinion. So each year we have been including comprehensive health in our legislative priorities. And over the last several years, we've had some level of success in getting some bits and pieces included for 6th grade, 8th grade. And we're still, I think, limited in the number of kids that we are reaching. And as of late, since Parkland, the Department of Education has started to mandate specific items that are included in our state's comprehensive health education curriculum, such as substance abuse prevention, mental and emotional health. Did someone have a comment? I'm sorry. Oh, anyway, so at this point, we are looking again, and the board has graciously supported including comprehensive health education in our 2022 legislative priorities. And this is available on our website in case all of you haven't seen it. And one of them is our comprehensive health education ask. So we're looking this year to say, okay, instead of individually delivering in a haphazard way to some degree, some of the requirements for suicide prevention, substance abuse prevention, dating, violence and abusive behavior, human trafficking, injury prevention, as well as personal health, community health, family life, nutrition, and prevention and control of disease. So we're asking for a fully funded comprehensive policy that will address all of those things and can be delivered in an age-appropriate, specific way from kindergarten through the end of high school. So historically, this committee has sent a letter of support for that. And so I'm here to ask you this morning if you would be interested in sending a letter from the School Health Advisory Committee saying that you support the delivery of these requirements along with health and nutrition and physical exercise, all of that. That's so important for a lifelong healthy lifestyle. And so if you have any questions, Leisha will be happy to answer them. So, hi, Pooh.
Who supports comprehensive health education? The pool guys here. So I'm going to say that I would be more than happy to type up a letter. I would appreciate if we could get some. Can you guys hear me over this crazy dog? Okay. I would appreciate if I could get some other members to sign off, since I am kind of the health education person for the district. It looks like I'm just writing a letter myself. So if any of you would be interested in signing that letter, Heather, I saw your hand go up. If you guys could email me, any of you, I will put my email address in the chat box. Get a dog, they said. It'll be fun, they said.
Leisha, well, my dog doesn't bark. He's too old now.
Well, the new pool guy, Elvis, is here, and she loves Elvis. So she wants to go say hi to Elvis, but too bad. So anyway, I will type up a letter similar to what we've done in the past. Isn't it generally accepted to include with the letter list of participating organizations? Yes, we can do that, Deb. I saw your message in the chat. We certainly could do that. Moira has a list of represented entities that we can include on there.
So Leisha, should we send them the letter that we are going to send to the legislative delegation, and then that will be the letter from the committee, and individual organizations will be attached to it, so that they can see what they're specifically what they're supporting?
Yeah, well, so for example, in the past, we've had letters from a variety of different groups. Lee Health has sent letters, Department of Health has sent letters. So I can reach out to representatives from those groups to see if they also would be interested in writing letters of support. And I guess my next question is, would you guys prefer, once I get a letter written, to share it with the members, or do you guys trust that I will cover it? It doesn't bother me any way, shape, or form if you guys would like to preview the letter before I send it, or again, I can just send it on everyone's behalf for the committee.
I mean, I trust you, Leisha. I'm sure you'll do a great job. I just like to see it if I'm putting my name on it too. That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So why don't we plan on me composing a letter? And again, it will be very similar to what we've done in the past, because we have submitted several of these. And I will get that to Moira and ask her to send it out. And then what I would like to do with that is, give her, say, okay, please review and send responses by this date and time, so that we can, get that off. Mary, who do I need to forward that to? Do I need to send that to Debbie Jordan as chair of the board? Who do I Who would it go to ultimately?
You can send it to me and copy the school board attorney, since I'm the school health advisory liaison.
Okay.
And then I keep Debbie informed as we go along.
Okay, which attorney is that? Is that Mr.
Kathy
Bruno?
Dupree.
Kathy,
Yeah,
okay,
I'll
Yeah.
send you all that. Okay.
okay. Well, I couldn't, I just want to make sure I was sending it to the right one.
And Leisha, I don't know if you want to mention a little bit about your local universities lacking health education degrees and the shortage statewide really of certified health education teachers, and what you've done to try to remedy that. And that is really part of the
Yeah.
package, part of our ask.
Yeah, and part of the issue there is because, and this was part of the previous legislative priority for comprehensive health, it was talking about how with funding, the district could pay to cover those certification exams, which they do for math, science, language arts, reading, but they don't do that for health. And because there is no mandated, or there are few mandated classes, people aren't going to spend the money to take the test if there are no positions available. So I know that's been a big concern with the board, that we don't have enough people. The health education certification exam is the most failed exam, but I can tell you every single person that I know of that has done our prep course that we created. I created that with Dr. Alyssa Barr from the University of North Florida, Sina Zipperer, a few of the people from DOE. Every single person that I know that has taken that prep course and then ultimately took the test has passed the test. So I think that we have a good prep course available. And I think that if we did have more mandated courses, that we could get people, they can teach out of field for a certain amount of time. And that would give them time. But again, if the certification exam fees were covered, we're going to be a lot more likely to have people take those exams.
Thank you for that.
Any other things that that any of the members can think of that you would like included that we're not really talking about? I know I'm going to mention, as Mary said, we have all of these State Board of Ed rules. We also had a Senate bill this year that passed mandating all 9th and 11th graders have to have 1 hour of CPR first aid training. They don't have to be certified. They just have to get the training. So it's a lot of students, but they keep mandating these chunks of things that need to be done. And, again, it's all part of comprehensive health. So if students were getting that, we would be covered. We wouldn't have to be pulling things for Wellness Wednesdays and where schedules have to be adjusted, or teachers who are not health people and are uncomfortable talking about topics, it wouldn't be placed on them to do so. But if there's anything else, if you want to share now, or if you want to send me an email and say, hey, I think you should include this, please do so.
I have a question, Leisha. Do you have a plan in place for that mandated CPR training?
Well, I'm currently trying to review how many, back in 2016, we received, I want to say every middle and high school received at least one CPR in schools kits. I use them for many moons, and I know I spoke with Emily Cooper from the American Heart Association. They have put in an ask from the National American Heart Association for 45 additional kits for Lee County. Apparently, there are counties surrounding us that haven't received any. I do know that there is a component that we could potentially stream the training video, because it has to be a nationally recognized CPR or first aid type of program. They do have a training video with that could be streamed, but that still then lies there has to be hands-on practice with the students. We haven't made any official decisions. I think the conversation is going to happen in October. But I've been doing some legwork in the meantime. I know that Candace Aliveto has someone that she is going to be meeting with, I believe from, I could be wrong, I want to say from FGCU, but there's nothing definitive yet. We're still really in the planning stages right now.
Right. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions or comments about our letter?
I just want to thank you, Leisha, for all the work that you're doing behind the scenes, and for the individual page that you created for the legislative priorities regarding the comprehensive health plan. I think it covers all of the necessary points. It's short, sweet, and well delivered to the point. So that being said, I'm hoping that people will find it important to support this. And I don't know, like, if there's anybody who thinks this is not a good idea, but as we are kind of delivering the required asks that continue to increase each year from different areas rather than from one curriculum that would be progressive in nature, I think it's inefficient and probably not giving us a good return on the investment of the funding that does come with it. So if we had the whole package, I think it would be certainly reach more students and help more teachers to become certified in an area that they once were or have an interest in now, and also would be an ultimate return on the investment really for the whole community, because we'd have healthier kids who were better prepared to learn, and our goal is increased academic achievement. So, and I do want to thank Food and Nutrition Services for all that they are doing to try to help kids learn what they need to know. And I hope that you will join me also in advocating for hydration. We have a lot of kids who get carried out because they're dehydrated. So I think we really need to make sure that district-wide we are encouraging hydration, not only for the kids, for the adults too, but that would be a prevention effort, because then they wouldn't be missing school because they're getting sick because they haven't had enough water to drink. So, and I don't mean to simplify it too much, but sometimes it is so simple that it's too simple. But again, I want to thank everybody for your involvement.
Great, thanks, Mary. If anybody has any additional questions for Mary, speak up.
Or email
Anyone?
me. Yeah.
Or email her, yeah.
And I think
All
I'm
right.
over my limit of time.
Well, that's okay. We won't give you too hard a time about that.
Thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda, we have Heather Cross and Amy Patrikas from the Center for Progress and Excellence. I didn't receive anything back, Heather and Amy, if you needed to be able to share your screen, if you were presenting anything, or if you were just going to talk. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys. And if you do, let us know, because I know that we can make sure you're able to do that if necessary.
Good morning. No, didn't really need to share a screen. Just letting you guys know that we are really busy as far as handling calls that are coming from the schools with our kiddos. We are making every attempt not to divert any calls. We want to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the kids, and we're also able to offer wraparound services, obviously with the parental consent. We know there's a lot of stressors that are happening in the school systems with the kids being back in school. And again, we have the peer support specialists that are able to go into the homes in the evening times and assist, whether it's with the family and the children or the child. But we want to, make that known that we do have those services. And in a time like this, we think it's important to be able to be available for the kids, not only just while they're at school, but while they're in the homes, and also working with the families as a component of working with the child to make it a well-rounded care.
Heather,
Yes.
Heather, can you go ahead and give just kind of a background of what types of services? Because I'm familiar and others on here in the meeting are familiar, but there are people that are in the meeting that really aren't familiar with the types of services that you're
Oh,
referring
okay.
to.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are the Center for Progress and Excellence. We are a non-for-profit agency that is a free service for mobile crisis response teams to attend calls that when a child is in crisis, we will attend the call and try to divert a Baker Act. That is the whole idea, is to decrease Baker Acts by our mobile crisis teams responding to calls and then diverting and hoping to put in outpatient services for that child. We also offer case management. We also offer peer support, and we do offer outpatient on a sliding fee scale. We have attended since September 1st. We're at 75 calls for the month with 12 Baker Acts. So we have been able to divert quite a few Baker Acts and engage the kids in services in the community. We also have a contract with Department of Juvenile Justice. So any probation parole officer that has a juvenile that needs assessment for mental health or substance abuse or outpatient counseling, we assist with Department of Juvenile Justice. We also are part of a human trafficking contract called TVAP, Trafficking Victim Assistance Program. And these are human trafficking survivors that are actually picked up at the border. And when they are picked up at the border, their information is given to our contact people in Washington. And then they decide, based on the information given by the survivor, where they are going to be placed, where they have family or where they're going to live. And obviously we cover 5 counties. So we are Circuit 20, Charlotte, Lee, Hendry, Glades, and Collier counties. So any survivor that is placed in one of those 5 counties, we have a MSW therapist as well as a case manager that works with these survivors in a 1-year period. So they're allotted so much money to get the green card, to, a lot of them need clothes, living items. So we assist with that as well. And then we do, like I said, offer outpatient services. We right now are on hold for referrals for outpatient. We are down to master level clinicians, and that unfortunately has put us on a wait list. But our number one function is the mobile crisis response team, and the whole goal is to divert Baker Acts. The targeted population is 25 years and younger, but we do service anywhere from 0 to 100 years of age. So we don't turn anybody down. We do have to, based on Central Florida behavioral recommendation, we have to categorize the calls that come in. Emergent is a call that we have to attend within 60 minutes or less. And those calls are active suicidal or homicidal thoughts. And then we have urgent calls where we have 24 hours to respond. And those are individuals who have passive homicidal or suicidal thoughts. And we don't wait that 24 hours. If we have a team available right then, we'll go on the call. And then we have the routine calls, and those are individuals who are seeking services. And we respond usually within 48 hours to get them back in the system. So that's pretty much an overview of what we do. 80% of our mobile crisis calls are coming from the schools. And we're trying to, like I said, not divert any of those calls. I think Sherry, who's on the call, or even Lori Brooks, can attest that we do try to attend all the calls that we possibly can, because we feel very strongly about helping these kids in the school system.
Thank you, Heather. Oh,
Yeah, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, any questions?
okay. If anybody has any questions for Heather, and then I can kind of clear up any district policy or school
I think there was a
district
chat. Let me look here.
questions. Though I-
So Christy, just Kavanaugh.
I have utilized this over, no, it has stabilized. Absolutely. And Christy, I'm looking at what you put in the chat box, and I do want to just kind of like go over like the school district policy is the Department of Education has said that they need to that we need to de-escalate our students. It is a requirement, because what they were finding prior to de-escalation is that we were having a lot of our students that were being sent to the crisis stabilization unit, sometimes not as appropriately as what it should have been. So the Department of Education, through our mental health allocation plan, has now required that districts use a de-escalation strategy. And we at the district, as a part of our suicidal ideation, require our schools to call the mobile crisis response team so that that de-escalation can be completed, to make sure that the student that is going to the crisis stabilization unit is appropriate for that. And so we appreciate our partnership with CPE, and we're in communication daily on those students. And we appreciate the fact that they have been able to de-escalate most of their calls and connect those families with services in the community through their case management, their peer specialists, and how they're supporting our students. It was a much needed service. I will tell you that, as always, Lee County is like one of the ones to, kind of be the last when it comes to mental health. And so when we found out that we were actually getting a mobile crisis response team, I was so excited, because that is their sole goal. Their sole goal is to divert anybody from and to stabilize them so that they don't need to go to the crisis stabilization unit. So we work very closely with them. We appreciate what they're doing for our students and our schools. And does anybody have any questions about any of that? I see that I think Heather got kicked off, or I don't know if she froze or what.
Not you, Heather Parker, the other Heather. Heather Parker's like, what? Well,
Nope, Heather Cross, sorry.
Heather Cross.
I'm so glad you guys are partnering with CPE. I think that's wonderful. It's a great resource for kids. And fortunately, in the Children's Hospital, we're seeing just so many kids in crisis and under the Baker Act. And so I think that's wonderful. I didn't really know that this was happening. So I'm glad I'm here today and be able to hear what's going on and all the resources available for mental health and helping our kids.
Okay, well, anybody have any additional questions? Again, I don't know if Heather made it back on or not, but any additional questions for Sherry? No?
I just
Mary?
I just want to say a quick thank you for all the work that's done in Sherry's department. And this is critical, because I know that there was an overload of Baker Acts because, the students or the subject wasn't appropriate for that. So this is a huge help, and it's great to have the partnership, and thanks to Heather whenever she comes back, but we appreciate that.
Great, thanks, Mary. And I thank Heather. I saw she was in her car, and so she may have gotten stuck in that traffic that several people were stuck in this morning. So, but if anybody does have any questions, we do have her contact information. So feel free to reach out to either myself or Moira, and we can get you in touch with them to be able to answer those questions. Okay, next up is Amy Carroll. She's the coordinator for Food and Nutrition Services, and she's going to give us a food and nutrition services update. Amy, are you there? There you are.
I am here. Good morning,
Excellent.
everyone. I have a dietetic intern with me for 6 weeks. Her name is Rachel Williams. She's on the call today because the emphasis of her rotation is community nutrition. So I figured this would be a good experience. So basically at the last SHAC meeting, I asked for feedback regarding the wellness policy because it's been a while since it had been revised. And I appreciate everyone who got back to me with some very valuable feedback. I spent the summer talking to a lot of different parties about the revisions, and it's almost ready to go to the board for approval, but that process will take a few weeks. However, there is also a triannual assessment of the wellness policy that's due every 3 years, and Lee County's is due June 2022. So I have been working with UF IFAS, Kathleen especially, on how we're going to do this. Basically, in order to do this assessment correctly, we're going to visit all the schools, and we have kind of a report card. It's called the Smarter Lunchroom Scorecard. So we will assess all the schools, and then you have to post those results. And I've been here since 2017, and I feel like the wellness policy has always kind of been there, but no one really pays attention to it. So in the wellness policy, it states that every school has a healthy school team member. So I have emailed all the principals to get a database going on who this person is, just so we can start there. And like I said, we will be assessing them all throughout this year. So that's just a good place to start as a baseline. And then hopefully going forward, we can put a lot more emphasis on wellness. Unfortunately, during the past few months, the Healthy Fit Lab and the Healthy Living Lab programs were terminated. I was not a part of this decision. It was an administrative decision, I was told. Again, I've been working with UF IFAS, thank goodness, to kind of fill this gap in nutrition education in our schools. Kathleen and Andrea have been amazing. And Leisha had the genius idea recently to offer the Healthy Living and the Healthy Fit Lab equipment and supplies to them, should they be interested in using any of that, just so it is utilized in some way. We have a meeting about that Monday, so just brainstorming to go forward from there. And in addition, we're going to be using that equipment and those vehicles for our school garden programs because it's rapidly growing. And that's another way to bring awareness to, number one, school gardens, farm to school, get some of that produce in our cafeteria for those kids to try, which in itself is nutrition education right there in the lunch line. We have 3 Florida Crunch events the last week of October. A crunch event is basically, we're going to elementary schools, and at lunchtime, everyone crunches a fruit or vegetable, and we teach them about it in very simplistic terms. But what's special about this year is Island Coast, I don't know if everyone knows, has an amazing school garden with like its whole ecosystem, tilapia tanks. It's just beautiful. It's extremely progressive for a school district. And this year they are able to grow enough romaine lettuce that we're going to be able to supply it to 3 to 5 of our schools for the rest of the year.
Wow.
So at these crunch events, we are going to crunch the romaine from Island Coast and really emphasize to these little children that it was grown by students just like them, to try to garner interest in not only food, but where does it come from? How does it grow? How does it get in my Publix? It's missing from this generation, from even my generation, basically, when microwaves and all that came out, we kind of like lost track of everything. So that's very exciting. And we're going to bring in the lettuce. We're going to have a naming contest. The student is going to name it, and it's going to be called that on our menus, and they're going to see it in their schools for the rest of the year. So there are some very exciting things that are happening this year. And thank you so much to UF IFAS for your partnership with us. I truly appreciate it. So that is where we're at in terms of wellness. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay,
No?
for those of you that have not met me, you know that I have a comment about everything. So I have to say, I am so excited to meet with UF IFAS and Susie Hassett, who is our in environmental ed. She's big with the school gardens. As you can imagine, I was, well, upset is not the nicest word that I would have used when the Healthy Fit Lab and Healthy Living Labs were kind of closed down. And I go, well, wait a minute, those were paid for for the sole purpose of nutrition and health education. So I want them.
Me too.
I mean, so I basically got together with Susie. We had gone over to the Hope Courtyard and saw their gardens. And I've been talking to Susie a lot about gardens. And I go, why can we not use this equipment, somehow coordinate that with UF and IFAS? Because I know that they have a specific type of program that they use. But let's use these trailers with all the equipment and all the TVs and all the, the models that we have, and do a coordinated effort to, kind of meld all of those areas together. I saw it as nothing more than a win-win, other than Amy and I discovered that we might have to learn how to drive and pull this redonkulously large trailer. But either way, I think it's something that it can benefit multiple departments, all with the same goal. So I was thrilled, and I appreciate Amy very much, because she's my liaison with food and nutrition. But I see great things happening with this, and it's a good union with the support that we have with UF and IFAS, and I'm hoping that we can expand on that. So Mary, I see you waving over there. What you got?
I have a question for you and Amy. So as you progress in this plan to use that equipment and coordinate with environmental ed and IFAS, when you're at the point where you're ready to say, okay, this is what it's going to look like, I would like to schedule you to do a presentation to the entire board, because I think that if the entire board had some knowledge of that previously and was able to weigh in, that maybe, I don't think they would have supported whatever that administrative decision was. And so, and I know there's a lot of an investment in that, and that really has been one of our programs that has been so well received by the schools and the kids. I happened to be at a couple of the elementary schools when they were there, and I mean, the interest level was high, and I think it's such important information, like Amy said, for today's generation who really, survive on McDonald's and Wendy's. So,
Mary, Amy and I were talking about that. We met, oh gosh, we've met a lot, Amy. I think this was Monday we met, and we were, I said, look, we need to get with the ladies from UF and IFAS. We need to pull Susie in. We need to do a big brainstorm session and come up with a plan. Because right now we're just, the ideas were like, oh, it can do this and this and this, but we wanted to come up with a plan that's coordinated among all of us to be able to, I told Amy, I said, we'll have to do a presentation, because I'm sure that the board will want this workshop. Amy was talking earlier about our district wellness plan. The Healthy Living Lab is referenced in there for nutrition education quite a bit. So I'm assuming, Amy, once we get a plan on this, we're going to have to revisit that, because I know we worked on that prior.
Yeah, and I have pulled that out, but if we come up with a plan and I can stick that in before it's sent off, that would definitely be the best. So we'll talk about that Monday as well. And I just want to say, having been here for 4 years, pre-COVID and post-COVID, I feel more momentum now than ever before, just from this partnership with environmental ed and Island Coast. I feel like super hopeful going forward that we will see significant changes in how, the district perceives and approaches wellness. So I feel like we're just getting started.
Yeah. And I'm hoping, Mary, possibly by our November SHAC meeting, we will have a little more going with this. I plan to invite Susie, because she is so vested in the gardens. And I know there are a lot of schools that are requesting to get gardens started. So yes. I will invite her, and hopefully we can update SHAC as to where that's going. But I'm very hopeful. It's right now, I don't see anything but positives out of this.
Right. And like our garden over here in Cape Coral at the Trafalgar Middle School, I don't think people recognize the community involvement, and also the advantage to being able to feed so many people in the community. If there's anything that I can do by doing a pre-presentation in my report to the board and encouraging administration to work on the district end and allow for you guys to have the time and resources you need, please let me know. Thanks.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on anything else that Amy presented? Oh, you guys are easy on the first day of meetings. Come on. Okay. All right, we're going to turn over now to Heather Parker, who's our employee wellness coordinator. She's going to give us an employee wellness update. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay? All right. So with employee wellness, I'm super excited to let everyone know that one of our big programs this year is the LIFT project. It's a mental health program. It's 10 weeks long, and it teaches people about how you can change your outlook in times of crisis, or if you have, you know, depression or anxiety or anything like that, how changing, you know, one of the things that they talk about is blue and green should often be seen, and how being outside actually helps improve your mood. So it's just every single week something to help improve your mood. Really great program. We have 511 people signed up for it so far.
Ooh.
And it starts in October. We only have 288 licenses, so we have to buy some more. But we're really excited about that. And I wanted to let everyone know that it is certified or available, able to be used, we'll call it, from 6th grade to 12th grade. It's certified to be, you know, and if any of the teachers or principals sign up for this program, they can use these videos in classes and things like that. It is legally acceptable to do that if they want to. So that's one of our big things that, you know, we pay for it, but other people besides just the teacher can watch it. So we have 2 in person, and then the rest are online. And then we're doing high blood pressure classes as well. Those start in October as well. So sign up is going on right now. Just about, not just about lowering your sodium, but lowering the fat intake and increasing the potassium and magnesium in foods that you eat, which are fruits and vegetables, to help decrease your high blood pressure, and how to do that naturally. We have 35% of our population that actually have high blood pressure, which is low compared to national averages of 50% of people over age 40 having high blood pressure, which our age population is 47.5 for average age. So in statistics, we're doing okay, but still 35%, that's still pretty high to me. So this is a blood pressure reversal program that me and Zanya helped write together. I'm excited about that. And then we do have the CHIP program back again, which is our complete health improvement program, not to be confused with the community health improvement program, which is like, you know, a really great program. And I'm part of that committee as well. So I have lots of chips in my life, and I'm not talking about potato chips, but this program is also a disease reversal program. It does help with gastrointestinal issues that people have. It can heal the gut. It does help with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. When we've had a lot of reversal in our diabetes, and I think I've shared with you guys before, you know, according to Lee County, from the CHNI, whatever study, it's the China study, but without the I. The community health needs assessment. I should just say what they are. That's easier for me. There we go. From Lee County, we're about 15% diabetes in our community, and at Lee County schools, we're at 7.5%. So we're much lower than the community average, which is a good trend. And we do see annually in wellness a $22 million savings or cost avoidance to our employees / our board or our budget. And we've calculated that over the years, and And that's what the average is. So we annually wellness saves $22 million a year, which is amazing. So these programs that we do offer work really well. And there's not a lot available to the community. It's mostly available to our employees, but it is available to employees and spouses most of the times. And anything that we do hear of, we do pass it along for, you know, community members, like our tobacco cessation programs. I send that out through Peach Jar so often, and it goes to all parents and staff and everybody like that. So we have health screenings coming up this year. We are transitioning and trying to get rid of health screenings and making it so that people don't have to do a health screening. And the reason for that is because people feel like they're doing double work. Like we pay them to go to their doctor for their annual physical, and then we're doing an annual health screening. So it seems like it's the same test, and you're doing a finger stick at our health screening versus a blood draw. We tried to do blood draws one time. I was very excited that Aetna could offer them for us. And we went to every single school and did blood draws for the whole year. And I had over 100 people pass out at the schools. So even though it's a really, really great test, and I'd rather have blood work that's way more accurate, I'd rather have not 100 people passing out on me. Whereas in 7 years, minus the 1 year, so 6 years of doing little finger sticks that are not accurate at all, in my opinion, well, they're not severely accurate. We've had 2 people pass out in 6 years going to these. So you can see why it's like, and we want them to go to their doctor to get the annual blood work. So that's why we're getting rid of the health screenings. It's not like we're getting rid of it. We're just replacing it with something better, more accurate, and less like double work for our employees. So that's the direction we're heading. It's $75 this year to get your annual physical with your primary care physician, plus an additional $20 for blood work. So $95 of the $200 that you can earn from employee wellness. And the $50 gift card is still available until that contract runs out. So we'll get rid of that soon and then roll it into the amount of money that you can earn. So any questions for employee wellness?
I have one question.
Okay.
If you've already done the LIFT program, can you do it again?
Yeah, you have, your license is still active, so you can sign back in.
Okay.
I've done it 4 times. That's why I'm this happy.
It's just awesome.
It
That's-
is.
You know,
Thank you. It's a
and
great
when you have
program. I
the
love it.
incentive, it makes you like every week, you're like, okay, I got to see what's going on this week. So you set
Yeah.
aside the time to do it.
What was your favorite week, Kathleen? Do you remember?
Oh gosh, I have to remember.
Sorry.
I can't, it was all so good, but I
Yeah.
love the, you know, turning all the negatives into positives and that type of thing. It just
Yeah.
really, this would be a good time to redo it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions for Heather? Heather, I'm going to be a proponent for LIFT, because if you claim that that's what makes you such a happy person, then it's got to work.
Yeah, it works.
So-
We're going to sign up.
So we thank you for all that you do for us as employees. And I gotta come down. I got an idea that I want to talk to you about, but that's
Okay.
a whole nother thing. We do a lot of side ideas. My brain's full of ideas.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So anyway, thanks so much for the update with employee wellness.
Thank you.
Next up on our agenda is Chuck Bradley, he's the director, I'm sorry, I can't even talk right now, the director of positive prevention, and he's going to give us our health services update. Good morning, Chuck.
Good morning, and good morning, everybody. Excuse me, a little froggy today. I am pleased to be with you today, and just to give you a few updates on what's happening in health services. It's been an interesting start to our school year this year with everything that's going on. So I do want to let you know that Beth Whiff has accepted a new position in Collier County Schools. She is now Director of Health Services in Collier County, and we wish Beth well. We're in the process of hiring a new coordinator for the school district of Lee County. And we have named a candidate. We have offered her the position and are in the process of of working with her to get that final process of onboarding all of her credentials, et cetera. So I'm not going to name her at this time, just in case we do go down a different road if we have to. But we're very happy to have identified this candidate, and she's going to bring a lot of strengths to the school district of Lee County in this role. And I'm excited to have this opportunity for her. So we also are in the process of continuing to hire nurses, school nurses in our district. We were blessed to receive a portion of the ESSER grant, ESSER funds, to hire additional nurses in the school district of Lee County. And they have been targeted for some of our most vulnerable schools, some of our schools in what we call our tier 3-4 support level. And these include schools that have high needs, students that have reduced access to healthcare for various reasons within their locales. And so this is going to give us a wonderful opportunity to really support our families better, connect them to resources, ensure that screenings are taking place, and that we're really helping to support those students for their healthcare needs. So we continue to hire. We still have positions open, so please let your friends know that School District of Lee County is hiring school nurses. One of the things that the ESSER grant is going to provide for us also is the ability to hire 3 float nurses. And so this will be 3 nurses that will be district-wide, that will be unassigned to a specific school, but will be able to jump in and help when a school needs that assistance, and or there's a gap of employment between a school nurse leaving and another school nurse coming on board. So we're looking forward to having that in place. And through the pandemic, it has shown us that we need to make sure that we're covered as a district. We want to make sure that our nurses feel supported and are not operating in a way that they feel is unsafe or may violate their license. And so this is very important that we make sure that we have that safety net here in the district to support our schools and also support our health services workforce. So once we're completely staffed, we will that's going to help to ease that load and also help us to be a lot more responsive during the pandemic and anything that may come up in the future. The pandemic has really taught us a lot of lessons that we have taken to heart in terms of making sure that we're agile and able to adjust and to respond to situations like this, so that in the future, should anything else occur, we're ready to respond. We have plans, we have the support needed to make sure that we're there. So that is a wonderful thing. With that, just a few COVID updates. I'm not going to go extensively into this, but one of the things, and I'm just going to knock on wood a little bit here. We, at our peak about 2 weeks ago, we were receiving about 900 COVID incident reports a day. That's that was pretty incredible. This week, they have gone under 100 a day, that's awesome. That is awesome. So we feel like we're just about, we're experiencing at least those first signs of this peak may be over and or waning, which is great news. So I'm not going to say it's over. It's never over. It's not over yet, but at least this immediate surge that we had experienced coming into the beginning of the school year and over the last several weeks seems to be past the peak, and that's good news. So we're very grateful for that. However, we do continue to support our students, our staff, our parents, and those that are either COVID positive or have been exposed, as well as dealing with changes in state direction, Department of Health direction in terms of COVID reporting, COVID requirements. So keeping on top of that with our COVID pandemic team here at the district and making sure all of that is coordinated with our schools so that we are keeping our students safe and also complying with those legal requirements. With that, health services continues on, and we're still providing our health services. And so we are still busy conducting screenings throughout the district. Our screening teams have been active in our schools and maintaining our required screenings, especially for those grade levels that require screenings, and making sure that we're keeping up with our Department of Health targets so that we stay on track for those requirements. And so our screening teams have been busy and coordinating with our schools to make sure that that is happening. We've also had our vision bus out. It does basically a follow-up with our screenings, and then further screens our students to see if there are vision needs. And so very happy to say that that is continuing, and we are working well with that. And then we're in the process of scheduling the dental bus to begin our dental screenings that will be commencing here in the next month or so, and beginning that process. So with that, that's kind of the overview of where we are with health services, continuing to support our students and help keep them healthy and safe every day in our schools. Thank you.
Charles, I am going to, Moira, you might remember, we got an email, I believe, from, it had something to do with sealants, dental sealants. And it showed, I want to say 10 counties. It may have showed the entire state. Moira, you may remember, but they talked about, I want to say it was 2 sealants. Anyway, we were low on the list, and I don't know if it was, it seems like Beth was working to coordinate with this. I think it was in addition to what we were already doing. So I'm gonna see if I can find that and send that to you so that you can obviously pass that on to our new health services coordinator once they come in. Because if they're offering free sealants for kids, I'm thinking we should be doing that. So Moira, I saw you unmute.
And Chuck, just so that you know, what grades are they going to be doing? Because I know every year they sort of target a set grade when the dental bus comes around. So it's not necessarily the whole school that gets the sealants, you know, as the dental bus goes to the different schools. Do you know which grade they're going to do this year, Chuck?
You know, I don't have that information right with me
Okay.
right now. I'm still 1 foot in this role.
Yes, right.
I had it, Leisha, because I was copied on the email. So I went ahead and forwarded it to Chuck so you don't have to.
Awesome.
Oh, you take such good care of me, Heather. And I know Debbie Allington reached out to whoever the email was from. So she'll have some information on that as well. Yeah.
Perfect.
Any other questions for Chuck this morning with health services? Okay, guess it's time for good of the cause. I'm going to start with good of the cause because I wanted to let those of you that have already, my inbox is overflowing with emails regarding letters of support to go along with our SHAC letter supporting our legislative priorities. So I will contact you guys that have emailed, and we'll try to do a coordinated effort, and I'll be able to get you the information as far as sending that to Ms. Fisher and Ms. Dupuy Bruno. I always mess up her name, so I have to take my time or my tongue doesn't cooperate. But I will reach out to you guys to do that. And any suggestions on things to add to the letter, even if it's adding to our SHAC letter versus something directly from another entity, please feel free to share your thoughts with me. Deb, I see you have your hand raised.
I do. 2 quick things. We were so hoping to do Randy Grimes in person on October 6th, and the city manager of the city of Cape Coral has said that they would feel much more comfortable having it virtual. However, I think that's going to really expand our audience. So he's used to play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so I think it's going to be very appealing to our kids and, quite frankly, a lot of our parents. And he's going to talk about his recovery from opiates and making good choices, and support the Helping Educate Loving Parents program that they have at the Cape Coral Police Department. So I can send you guys the link to that, and you can pass it on. And we're really delighted to have him. And I'm hoping that we'll have him in person in the spring, just because I think it's fun for kids to meet him. Also, for a call for help, we do have Drug House Odyssey scheduled for the second week in February, and we're looking forward to having it at the Civic Center. And I Need Actors for February 8th and February 10th. Our usual group was not able to do it. So if your school has a theater program, the kids generally really enjoy making a difference in the community this way. There is just really a minimum of rehearsal, and the buses are paid for. So if you know of a theater teacher that is willing to take that on, we need it. It's a Tuesday morning from about 8 to 1 o'clock, and a Thursday morning from 8 to 1. And I can only say that I continue to hear from students who have acted in Drug House Odyssey from many, many years ago, and it's made an impact on them, in addition to the hundreds of kids that go through it every year. Thank you all. Thank you for all the good work you're doing, and that's what I got.
Deb, if you can send me the information for needing those students, student actors, I can try to disseminate that information out, see what we can get.
Of course. And one of my best memories is Mariner High School always does it, and they do family nights, so they're there all afternoon and playing Uno, which I didn't realize was quite as sophisticated, with law enforcement, the kids from Mariner, somebody from EMT. And where else are we going to have an experience like that? So it's really a great event, and I'll send you everything.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Kathy, thanks for reminding me. For those of you that came in late, just make sure that you're putting your name and where you're from into the chat box. Sherry, I'm going to go with you only because, I don't know which hand went up first. So Sherry, if you want to go ahead.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to share that Lee County Schools, the School Counseling and Mental Health Services Department, is starting October 6th with our Wellness Wednesdays for parents and caregivers. We had several of those sessions last year, and we are continuing with them this year. The flyer will be put in Peach Jar, but the first one is October 6th, and we are working in conjunction with Lee Health and Kids Minds Matter, and their Normal is Overrated, which is a group of students who have had mental health challenges, and they kind of talk about those challenges, but what they're going to actually be talking to our parents and caregivers about is how they can support their child who is having a mental health challenge. So what is it that they need as a student who is suffering from a mental health challenge? What is it that they need from their parents? Because as we have had these Wellness Wednesdays all last year, so many of the parents are like, we don't know what to do. So we figured that we would ask the kids, what is it that you need? So they're going to be talking to our parents and caregivers about what they need from them as they're experiencing a mental health challenge. So we're really excited to be partnering with them. And like I said, probably within this week, that flyer will be going into Peach Jar. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Sherry. I appreciate that very much. Sally.
Hi, good morning. I recently took a new position in Lee House, so I'm now in the community affairs team, and I just wanted to make comment on two things. One is my new role, one is my old role, so please bear with me. The new role, we are actually going out and doing vaccination clinics in the community. We're getting them weekly. I don't know if that's something that I could share with you guys. We have gone to schools and so forth. This Friday, we're in Immokalee, and then Saturday, we're at the YMCA off Royal Palm Boulevard in Fort Myers from 10 to 1. So a parent or authorized guardian must accompany the minor for the vaccine. Anybody over the age of 12 is able to get them. And then for my old role, I was a Safe Kids coordinator. So I know many of you in that fashion. But I wanted to let you know, over the summer, we did a child passenger safety course, and 7 school resource officers in elementary took the course, and then they are now certified to help families with car seats and proper child passenger safety. So Golisano did receive a grant to work with the SROs, plus other communities, programs like LAMP and Outside in other counties to provide car seats for them. So that is a grant that it just started. I think we don't even have the check in hand yet, but I wanted to make that noted.
Well, thank you for that information. As far as the vaccination schedules, if you want to email that to Moira or myself or both of us, and then we can disseminate that out to the membership so that those people who are on here that would like to have that schedule, they can certainly get that. Speaking of car seat safety, I know maybe 2 years back, I'd worked with Michelle King, and she had a lovely group, help out at LAMP for everything from teaching the mothers there and some family members on how to install car seats to, I don't remember what the breathing program was. They also had an app where the mothers could link family members in they could put in what time the baby ate, what time the baby pooped, what time I would love to kind of see if we're still providing those services with LAMP. I know that they have a new administrator over there. Rebecca Andrews was the previous AP, but I would certainly like to see those programs continue. So don't be surprised if I reach out and have you tell me who's the best person to contact to make sure that all is happening.
Absolutely. Julie Noble is actually on that team.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm so
Okay.
glad that you mentioned that, Leisha, about that was actually the program called the Period of Purple Crying. And I did present that to the LAMP.
Yeah, and I will tell you, those programs over there are so important, and I want to give them as much support that we can muster up from those types of programs. I'm out trying to find bras for these girls all the time. So I mean, the needs are the needs. So we just do what we can do. I also, since we're talking to Lee Health reps, I don't know. Some of you that have been on here with me for a long time, remember several years back, Golisano had a grant offering free EKGs to student athletes in the district. Does anybody know if those are still happening? I've had a few questions about that, and I'd like to be able to answer it. I know Dr. Eric
Eason. So yeah, Dr. Eason, he actually just wrote to me, which is a sidebar. I didn't get unmuted quick enough to ask Chuck Bradley this question, but I will reach out to him and ask him about those EKGs. But he wants to know if you have, we're getting referrals for return to play after COVID. And he wanted to know, our physicians want to know what the protocol is in place for return to play for athletes with the school district.
That's a very good question. Something that I would want to bring in our athletic director, David LaRosa, and because it does go through the athletic trainers,
Yes.
that side of the house. So definitely, Julie, reach out to me. We'll have some conversation and we'll get Dave involved.
Okay, perfect.
Answers.
Okay, yeah. And then I'll also reach out, Leisha, to Dr. Eason about the EKG screenings.
Perfect. And Julie, I'm going to put my direct number in the chat for you.
Okay.
So if you want to grab it and just give me a call direct, and we'll be happy to set something up.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Since I'm on here, Alicia, and
Yeah, I was going to say you had your hand raised, and I wasn't sure if that was another thing or if you were just covering it. So yeah, go ahead.
I do. I actually have another thing. Since the last SHAC meeting, Golisano Children's Hospital on Project Adam awarded the school district of Lee County with Heart Safe School designation. And we were just so happy to do that. And you guys have done a fantastic job of getting your cardiac emergency response plans and teams in place, and all schools have an AED. And I congratulate specifically Beth Witt and how she brought on all the high schools under the same protocol so that it's all unified, a standard practice. And so it was fantastic. And it was my pleasure to be part of that, group. And I love the fact that she's down at Collier now, because they're going to follow your lead in Lee County. So that was the other thing that I wanted to share. So congratulations to the school district. You have a 2-year designation under Project Adam and our partnership with Golisano.
And Julie, if you can shoot me an email, I would like to touch base with you. We talked earlier about the new Senate bill regarding CPR and first aid.
Yes.
I would like to get your thoughts, and it's going to be a challenge to figure out how we're going to do this. It was brought up to me the other day about, oh, well, you could just go out and teach CPR to all the kids in each high school. And I'm like,
there's a better way.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that, especially with this designation, there should be a way that we can get, volunteers, or, again, they don't have to be people who are able to certify, because the students don't have to be certified. They simply need to get the hour training and hands-on, where, and I'm hoping, like I said, Emily Cooper from the American Heart Association said that they've asked National for 45 additional kits. And I believe their main office locally in Estero is doing some type of fundraising to try to get kits as well. But I would love to pick your brain on if you have any possible resources we could use to, if we're going to do something, we need to do it right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love for you to pick my brain, because I have some ideas up here too. And, Beth did put together those kits that went around the school district for all the training within the response team. So please, I'll reach out to you, Alicia.
Yeah. And I think that are you talking about the AED kit that she sent around?
Right.
Because I think that's certainly something we need to regularly do, just because crisis team members will change periodically at schools, and refresher courses, when you're talking about something so important, I think is very important as well. So
and we just had a save at Franklin High School, and that was an amazing situation where they got the AED, and the AED saved her life. And so it was an incredible experience. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, well,
Hey,
like
Lisa?
I said, reach out.
Just a little comment on that. With the CPR, usually CPR and AED training can be done together live. So
yes.
I know you're working on the CPR, so I just want to throw that in there.
And really, from what I've gathered, the AED training and the first aid training, and even the CPR instruction can be streamed. So all kids are getting basically the same message and everything. It's the hands-on with the compressions that students need to be able to demonstrate, which again, it's difficult, because at the high school level, I believe the only course that all 9th graders are in and all 11th graders are in are their English class. They're not, we've got a very small number of students who actually take HOPE. So again, if they were all getting health education every year, we would be able to do this without any problem. But it's going to take some coordination to try to make it as minimally disruptive to their regular courses as possible. But I'm sorry, this is very important for them to know. So we'll work on it. We'll get a plan, and a good plan, figured out, because there's no point in having a plan if it's not a good one. So we'll come together and get something worked out. Sherry, your hand's still up, but I don't think you have anything else to say. And Julie's hand is still up, but I don't think she has anything
I don't
else to
either.
say.
I don't know how to take it down.
I don't either. I don't know. I don't see any other hands, but if anybody has any questions, comments, just nice things to say, I don't know if you, we still have 15 minutes. So if there's anything else that you would want to discuss, certainly love to hear from anybody.
The only thing I want to add, Alicia, is that I am putting all the, because Deb is great about sending me a lot of flyers and stuff. So I'm just going to send out one email with all the flyers and all the information that I have. And I'll be sending that out prior to sending out the minutes. And all of the flyers, as well as the meetings and everything else, is on the Google Drive. And all of the members that have a Gmail should have, or that have access, should have access to the Google Drive. If you don't, let me know and I'll work on that.
Okay, and I remember that was an issue. You had to have a Gmail account to be able to
Right.
have access.
Right.
So what we'll need to do is make sure we have a list of people who don't have, you know what, if you don't have a Gmail account, they're not that difficult to make. It'd probably be easier just to have, okay, my Gmail account is just so I can go and look at SHAC stuff. But if you don't have one and don't want to get one, I certainly respect that. Let us know and we will try to get everything sent out to you.
Well, I send everything out anyways, but just
Right.
it loses something or wanted to go take a look at something regarding SHAC, we put it out there just for ease for.
Yeah, right. Moira, you're way more organized than I am. So yes, I know you always send stuff out. You're so good. You're so good. Anything else? Awesome. If anyone has any suggestions or asks for future presentations during our next meetings, please reach out to us. I know being the first meeting of the year, we always try to do updates from every department, a little bit more lengthy since it's been a while since we met last in April. But if there are any suggestions or requests, please let us know and we will see what we can do to get there. If that's it, I will ask for someone to make a motion to end the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Well, you're awesome, Chuck. Do I have a second?
I can second it.
Awesome, Heather. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Yeah. Okay. I hope to see everyone at our next meeting on November 18th. Hopefully it will be in person, but we will certainly keep you abreast of that situation. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'm going to try to figure out how to save a chat now. Have a great day, everybody. Okay. Does anybody know how to save the chat?
Yes. So when I end the meeting, it will automatically save.
Oh, good. Okay. So you got it covered.
I'm going to stop.